interesting live for you guys. I don't know. I know a couple people may be doing some things. I actually just got off Chief Cali.
Power on.
And I am about to play you guys a song or two. See if anyone comes in. I know it's kind of late for me. But if not, either way, we are going to make sure that we get something going with this information.
Bluetooth connected.
Let's see what I'm gonna play for you guys. How you guys doing? Hope we had a good one today. It's been a long, busy one for me. I have rescheduled this live like 2-3 times, I think, today. I had family over, and then I jumped on the live while they were here, and then I ended up being caught up on the live for a minute. But I'm gonna play a quick song. Maurice, what's going on, fam? What's up, people? Yeah, I'm gonna play this song, and we're gonna get right into it.
Stack that bitch up, right? Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't legalized. Realize, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize, realize. Realize. Yeah, slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Children of the feeling, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even if the playing field, bitch, I'm darned. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe it. Colonists came here, they ain't never leave here. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens, made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, whites got so offended. Common law rights, gave us amendments. Thank God don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to the teacher. And the Nuki got voice coming out the speaker. Cut our trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreign or the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aborigine, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheep. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privileges real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savages. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, I got built up anger. You built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read, but we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. Skin copper color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats that together pay attention. We got ancestors but the papers is missing. Kings and queens we just can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a vax, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president, look it up. United States only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up.
It's so easy.
Look it up. You want me to say stop governing me. Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trayvon killers still walk around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hate it. History was told in reverse, I've stated. These still oppressed, somebody gotta say it. I'm taking out of school, that's the reason I made it. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. That ain't my story. History, it's his story. It's his story. Probably ain't your story. History, it's his story. It's his story.
Jobs have been around for more than years, and the first evoked interest because when curious, very curious property. You can take this nice drop and hammer it on the head with common hammer, then slightly resistant against fracture. The tail off, this whole thing will shatter into powder with a little pop noise. These drops were brought around 1661 by Prince Rupert from Europe and given to King Charles II as a sort of a memento. He gave a couple of the drops that Rupert had brought to his scientists and asked them to study these and explain to him their properties. High-speed photography is critical for explaining the explosive disintegration. In terms of why they withstand hammer blows, that required measurement of the stresses in the drop. Measurements in objects of such complicated geometry requires a special type of photoelasticity called integrated photoelasticity that was pioneered by Professor Hilar Aben in Tallinn in Estonia. The very strong nature of the drops in the head is due to the large compressive stresses, and these stresses are much higher than have been measured in other types of glass blocks and glass plates and so on. All it requires is a glass rod of, say, leaded glass or soda lime glass, something with a high thermal expansion coefficient. So you heat the glass rod till it melts and forms a little bubble, and you let the bubble separate from the main rod and sort of cool water or a jar of water. The stresses that we measured are a consequence of the heating and the subsequent cooling of the drop in the water. That is what causes the stresses, and it is also what causes the particular distribution of stresses, which is compression on the surface and tension in the interior. Compression is good for a means of resistance against cracking. Tension is bad because fly apart when you pull them, and pulling is tension. These glasses, which are fracture resistant, have found lots of applications. Now in cell phones and electronic devices that we carry, this little fellow here, the Rupert Drop.
What's going? Yeah, it's yeah, the way that it's formed, Unica. I thought it showed it in that video. I might have to pull up another video for you guys. I didn't want to do YouTube. You already know how they do when I do YouTube. I thought this video is this one is in here. No, it's not. Dang. Where is it? I'll have to pull it up with YouTube, but I'll get the link and drop it in there so you can see it for yourself. I think it may be in my list. Let me see here. Let me pull this up real quick. I actually do have a video here, sis. I believe I have the video. Is this a video here? This is the picture of the video. Let me see. No, I don't have this. I don't have this. Sis. Probably, but let me see. Let's see. Okay, so no, I don't. I thought I had the video. Wait, let me double check one more time. Run up area, because there is a video of it. Yeah, it's not in here, so sorry about that. But I'll get it and I'll put it in the chat before we get out of here. Just remind me if I forget. Okay, so we're gonna read a little bit about it, right? So as you see, it is a very small structure. Yeah, bulletproof. Bulletproof. The head is bulletproof. But as you guys see, did you guys see the demonstration, or was when I was trying to fix it, it wasn't showing the whole video. The whole video should have been showing that when you take a pressure, when they apply pressure to the very tip, that little thin tip, it shatters. It just like shatters into like a million little tiny pieces of dust, glass dust. It's like crazy. Um, and my thing is, what tripped me out is because it's Rupert's Drop, because it is King. It's from King Rupert. And he's the one that it's called the Prince Ruperts Drop. It was from the Prince, not a king. Actually, let me correct myself. It was a prince. So what happened is, I'm going to read you guys a little bit about it. Um, the British Royal Society was interested in these things back in the 1600s. Why? I don't know, absurd reason, but there's a couple of things I've looked at. Um, it's basically a long, thin, practically snaky bit of glass that you get when you drop some molten glass into water. It solidifies into a shape like this, which is the shape that we've seen. Um, what would make someone want to do this? I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that in a minute. So, the small glass structures resemble tadpoles that can withstand the blows of a hammer and yet burst into powdery dust by simply snipping the thread-like tail. They have been a source of fascination and mystery since they have been discovered in the 17th century. But there's something or some information of the prince back in the 15th, supposedly in the 1500s. Now, an intentional research team had pinpointed the source of the bizarre shatter-resistant behavior beyond Prince Rupert's Drop. The work has a collaboration of researchers from the Purdue University in Cambridge and UK and the Tallinn University of Technology in Estonia. Since the 17th century, famous scientists and natural philosophers have been trying to understand and exceptional properties of these drops. A Purdue professor of industrial engineering and director of the university's Center for the Materials Processing and Tribology. The Center for Materials Processing and Tribology. Rupert's Drop had been a curiosity for over 400 years. Germany's Prince Rupert, check this out, mind you, this is a German prince. Germany's Prince Rupert brought five of the enigmatic drops to England and presented them to King Charles II. We know who wrote the Bible, right? King Charles. Just make sure you guys are listening to these things. I'm not going to tell you too much of a story. I'm just going to give you some information and I'll tell you a little bit, Anyway, he brought them to King Charles II, who became interested in their extraordinary properties, right? Um, Wonder America, greatness, greatness to you, greatness. I know it's a late night for me, guys. We may not get too many people coming here. I haven't been, they've been blocking my notifications and all kinds of stuff. So that's neither here nor there. Now, Germany's Prince Rupert brought five of the enigmatic drops to England and presented them to the king, right? So, for some reason, the king became oddly very interested in them because they do have these special, extraordinary properties. There's some questionable things about some of that when it comes to some other things I checked out. Yeah, I'm not going to get to that right now. On the one hand, the head can withstand hammering, and on the other hand, actually, like I said, I'll put that video in there, withstand a bullet. Um, on the other hand, the tail can be broke with just the slightest finger pressure. So if you have enough strength in your hand, you can pressurize and pop the tail, and it'll send enough pressure, a vibrating sequence of frequency through it, and it would then bust it from the tail. But it can't be burst from the head, which is phenomenal, right? And it's the molten glass. They take the molten glass, you see it, they just drop the drips of it, and then it falls off that tail, comes off, it drops in the cold water, and it makes that pressure. So it's the heat, the hot drip of glass, and it drops into the freezing cold, and it instantly freezes like that. So it's you know how something like a crystal looks. You can imagine that's how the glass is crystallized. I don't know why they wonder about it. They're so stupid. They don't know stuff sometimes. But anyway, makes sense. So on the other hand, it can withstand the hammering, blah blah blah, and it can be broken with the finger pressure. And within a few microseconds, the entire thing shatters into fine powder with an accompanying sharp popping noise. So it's a hard crack, and once it cracks, it gives a shattering powder. In new science, researchers use a technique called the integrated photoelastic. Photoelasticity, pioneered by this Tallinn University And the measurements revealed that the complex stress distributed in the drop as a rainbow colored band. I'm going to show you guys some pictures as well. When viewing through polarized filters, the mathematical techniques similar to those used in construction of 3D information from medical CT scans, right? They use these things in the phones, guys. The crystals in your phone, right? Believe it or not, and then used to precisely recover the stress band on the band patterns. Okay, the new research is an extension of work performed more than 20 years ago by Shadraka and Cambridge physicist Munana Shajri, who is the corresponding author on the Applied Physicist Letters Group paper in 1994 work they showered. I'm sorry, they showed. I'm thinking about the tub, Lord. Using high-speed photographic analysis of drop disintegration at nearly 1 million frames per second, individual cracks accelerating from the drop's tail toward the head at more than 4,000 miles per hour. So when it gets that pressure at the tip, it just pops it in like 4,000 miles per hour speed. That's how quick. That's why it shatters like that, because it just goes so quick. I guess the frequency from that tail sending all the pressure into that larger part. This explained the explosive disintegration. Then when the tail was snipped off, and intriguing property of the drops. Okay, I'm not going to read too much more. Some more of this talks about some other things. So we'll get into some of the pictures. I'm going to show you guys some of the pictures. Real quick. Let's see. I keep postponing these lives. I'm telling you. I'm trying to catch up. I think there's some two I postponed. I wanted to do this one today, 2222, because we was talking about the crystal. All right, so let's see. Okay, so there's a video. The video I'm talking about, sending that. I gotta find it, but if not, I'll make sure I leave it in the comments if I don't do it before the show. Depending on what, it's easy accessible. This is showing it right here, where they did the experiment of it hitting the head. It actually did not burst, even with the bullet. And the tail, like I said, it shatters from the tail only. It will not burst, even with a bullet. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay. So, I think I got a couple more things talking about it. So this is what happens. As I said, it's the emerging of the liquid, right? The emerging of the liquid. Then there's polarized light, which creates a vacuole, which is this little hole. You'll see in some other pictures that I have. I think I got like 2 or 3 more pictures that shows the actual rainbow. It's really like pretty for real. Some people have made jewelry out of them. It's a delicate thing. So with the polarized light that shoots through it, the vacuole hole is created right here. Because there's an immersion in the cold liquid. See, here's the specimen of the glass. This is hot molten glass. They literally hold it right over the cold water, and then they drop it to the little tip falls off, and then that is when it's created. So as soon as it hits the cold, because it's hot, it's automatically formulated that way. So then the tail has this stress plane. It's usually kind of curled because how it drips and then it falls over a little bit. So that's how it looks. And this is how it looks, from the front. You can still see the little circle, whatever, of where the vacuole is. So this is what happens. So because it's a glass, obviously, in absorbing frequency and color, the weight of the water, pressurizing it, so on and so forth, right? So there's a compression layer that's created. It cools down quickly because the atoms, they'll freeze where they were when the liquid has still less density in it. They just freeze. The liquid is very dense at this time. It's hot, it's molten glass, so it's very dense. and then it's dropped into the liquid, and then it automatically causes the atoms to freeze because it's so dense. It freezes quickly, like like in a split second, it's like frozen. The glass freezes itself from the cold water. So this is how the pressure is created from the compression layer on the outside, pressing it in, and then the tension layer, allowing it to cool from the inside. And this is how that little hole, that little bubble is created, which is the vacuole. So the liquid becomes gradually denser as it contracts, and then the atoms freeze in place at that point where the liquid was the densest. So the densest point that the liquid is, this is where the atoms will take their place and actually freeze. And then it creates that tension layer, and then the compression layer pressing it together, it formulates it. So this is why it will shatter like that. Okay. Let's see. I might try to pull this other video up. I did want y'all to see that. So this is the thread, the body. This is the thread, just to get a good look at it. This is the thread, obviously, the tiny thread. And this is the neck, and the point at the end of it, is the body. This is the account that was given by Robert Moray, MDCLXI. That looks familiar, right? MDCLXY. I'm not exactly sure what it has to do with. I don't know if it's something with the Egyptian or something to do with money. I can't recall, to be quite honest. It's a little late, but I still don't recall. I just know. Mechanical properties of the materials are carbon plus 90% and 25% of. Hold on, I'm gonna read this up. The internal tension of it, basically. Prince Rupert's drops are made by heating the glass and dropping into the water. I thought it had the properties. Wait, it may be on another slide, guys. I had the properties somewhere. So, anyway, it's talking about. I know it's had something to do with the carbon, so on and so forth. So we're gonna get to that. That's just kind of showing you the same thing. I believe we were talking about. Okay. And this is what happens. This is the tensile stress. The stress is going, like this when it drops in that water, just showing you the temperature, how it happens. It's hot, and then what happens because it's hot. The whole thing is hot. Obviously, once it hits the water, it starts to cool from the outside. So it's cooling from the outside, but then there's this pressure because the glass is actually freezing with the density, right? And then it compresses it, and then at that point, it creates that that extreme stress on it at that point. That's not the picture I want to show. That's one of them. That's not the properties either. This one's kind of showing. There's another. Okay, I want you to see this rainbow. See how it looks. So you can see how like I was just showing you guys. It starts to cool it from the outside in, and you can see the pattern. And at that right there, it is like solidified. Just a pure atom that has solidified. So when that tail pops, when the tail pops, as you can see the way that it comes in, and the way that it's formulated, there's a pressure that's applied right here, and all this will crack and shatter, and it breaks into like a million pieces. This is how it looks when it shatters. This is like a shot of someone shattering the glass. This was one of the Ruperts drops, and as it shattered, this is how it shattered, like literally into like a million pieces, like a million pieces. That's how it shatters. So guys, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Let's read this information here. I want to read this to you guys as well. Sis, let's get to it, babe. You're exactly right. It's been known, people have looked up sperm, Ruperts Drop. So what do you think it has to do with the sperm, seeing that it's formulated? It has nothing to do with the sperm, obviously, but obviously they had a fascination with it because it looked like sperm, right? Just a way for them to represent something in an artificial life, right? It would look like it's an artificial, a god of a sperm life or a sperm cell, right? Or something of the sort, something very weird and creepy like that is what I kind of, you know. Yes, it shatters inside the body. Serious damage. You ain't lying, sis. Okay. Now, the measurements revealed the complex stress distribution of the. Oh, this is the wrong one. I'm sorry, guys. I want to go back to that. My bad. I want to go to the other one that tells us a little more information about it. So you can get even more of insight. Or do I want to go to this? Okay, I'm going to show you this. So, something else. Let me remind you guys of, right? Yes, seriously mimicking. Yeah, sis. You already know. Everything is a mimic us. Empress, what's up, sis? Greetings, greetings. Yeah, mimicking. Just like the sperm. And look at that. You see what that description says, right? This is showing. You know what this is showing? See it, right? Y'all see this, right? Y'all see that, right? Who else is tied? Who else is tied to or fascinated with this? Who remembers a paisley? Who knows what a paisley is? You guys remember paisley? Man, I used to have paisley pants, jeans with paisley on them, shirts with paisley on them. I remember a phase of the. Where's my? I remember a phase of the. A phase of paisley everything. So you guys see that, right? We're giving too much of this. But no, not at all, honey. So anyway, you see this, right? This is that thing. This is the blue paisley bow and bow tie united. And you see it, right? You see what it looks like. I just want you to see that real quick. Seeing what some of this stuff links to. Okay, and let me get back to here. All right. Now, this. Yeah, see? There it is. I think that, oh, this is why I thought it was on that other link. And it's actually on here showing it. But this isn't the video I was talking about. This shows you guys how, look how it bursts. That looked crazy, right? Let me enlarge this so y'all can see it again. Hold on, I want y'all to see it because it looked like so crazy. Look at that. Look at it. Just like, man, that thing looked like, wow. What do you guys think of that? How doesn't that look like crazy? It just burst into like millions of all of them, and all of them do the same thing. It's not like when they snap the tail, right? Like it doesn't like break off. It doesn't like chip. It doesn't do any of that. So what it does is literally shatters into a million pieces. That thing looks crazy. It's absurd. Okay. So, all right. So let's finish reading this. I was starting to read this to you guys earlier. All right. So yeah, this is how they look. That teeny little thing is holding all the pressure for that. The insertion and the interesting and weird thing is you really can't break the bulb apart. You can't break the bulb apart at all. You can take a hammer to it, but it won't break. But the long tail is fragile and easily broken, as we said. With modern high-speed cameras, they've managed to measure the speed of fracture at slightly faster than 1 mile per second. So that's kind of fascinating. I just want you guys to see that. That's just the video I had on that. It just is like crazy. Okay. Now we're gonna get into something else here. Hold on 1 second, guys. Make sure I get the right article. Okay, here it is. Now, in the drop, we read a little bit about what. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up first. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it's showing this search result. Let me get rid of that. Why is that in there? Okay, thank you. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, so this is. I think I went back. All right, so what we are going to do. I'm looking for notes here. What are my notes? I did write something down earlier. I wanted to say and remind me what it was. And all right, I can't find it. But either way, that's not important. Let's do this because it's already later than I should be chilling right now instead of on here. Let's see. This is an Encyclopedia Britannica guide. So if we want to, this book, this is the Encyclopedia Britannica, and it has like, I think this is volume. What volume is this? I think this is, has like, I think it has HIJKLMNO and P or in it or something, but it has some of the okay. Let me get rid of this. Okay, thank you. Grande. All right, let's see. All right, let me get to this. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me give me a drink, guys. Give, give me about 2 seconds. Give me 2 minutes, guys.
India, my job, upper mind, so what's happening? Government and all, y'all cross the line, so what's happening? My ancestors wouldn't like you cross the line, so what's happening? We original, y'all GMO, y'all lying. I do this for my niche, my niche, my niche, my niche, oh yeah, niche, my niche, my niche. I do this for my niche, my niche, my niche, my niche, my niche, my niche, my niche. I do this for my niche. Should've left me where I was, cause I ain't never scared. Took that little ice off my neck for this Earl head. My nation, my need you, someone thorough said. Real Americans, still pure blood, we thoroughbred. I'm like, let my people go and just take me instead. When it's red or blue pill, I'm only choosing red. I'ma always choose my people, you can keep that bread. Our government, a trillion, you can keep that bread. If it's one thing Jim Crow is showing me, I don't want no white folks ruling over me. I don't want no politicians ruling over me. I don't want no po-po ruling over me. Only somebody just like me gon' treat me like me. I'm Iron Cherokee, the Chief and Dr. G.L.E. I'm still a G like this. T, you might not be as G as me. Think you free, but you need remedy to be as free as me. I'm from the hood, I'm still waking up my people. They got us good, they still hating on my people. When it comes to fashion, the whole world wanna be like us. When it comes to music, the whole world wanna wanna be like us. When it comes to dancing, the whole world wanna be like us. Foreigners is doing everything, trying to weaken us. Sports, y'all can't fuck with us. Rhythm, know we killing y'all. Anything involve a ball. Mentally, we figured out the cosmos. After all the bitten shit, we smashing y'all. It's time to take the asking y'all. Rights by blood after all. Vatican and the Smithsonian got all our shit. Artifacts and relics still keeping us away from it. When they say it was a long time ago, that's racist shit. Y'all holy land keep stolen shit. We don't need y'all holding it. Reverse engineering.
Give it back, give it back, give it back.
Gave it everything you got, but you can't put no soul in it.
We the only ones with that rhythm.
I'm living it. Everything is not what it seems, but I'm killing it. Can you afford to pay attention who you living with? Now they trying to mandatory vax, but is you
Heck no.
Fall back off my Nietzsche, I'm peeping y'all tactics. This ain't no earth war, this shit is galactics. Goddesses and gods warming up like practice. We gon' put arrows on your chest like that. Mongoloids can't style like us, them fake natives ain't wild like us. They ain't got a soul, destiny as a child like us. Nobody power like us, nobody peace pipe like us. Boxing y'all can't fight like us, nobody lost they right like us. I'm in the way, say too much, I'm in the way. They trying to kill us anyway, so listen what I'm finna say. Everybody, our kids, we raised y'all anyway. What that since it's finna say, everybody ain't here to stay. Is you with us or against us? Ain't no in between.
Ain't no playing in this
being,
shit.
Not a human being. Fucking 1492, but all my allies what it's due. Renegade got cooked for days. Be careful, I advise you to. Yeah, my tribe of aqua mine, so what's happening?
What's happening?
Government and all y'all cross the line, so what's happening?
What's happening? They been crossed it. They keep crossing it. They don't know nothing to do but cross that shit.
I do this for my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche.
Okay, check this out. Let's get to it. So I'm gonna tell you what to say. Anybody want to pop up? Y'all let me know. It ain't nothing, to it. I'll drop the link if y'all get interested. But right now, I'm just about to read some stuff to you real quick. Right? Had to get my throat right. We're gonna read something about when it comes to the Ruperts Drop. This Ruperts Drop, it is something that is called a micrographia, right? So a micrographia is certain things that are formulated in a certain way. Just like you guys see certain formations in rocks and things of that nature. I've told you guys, like, these mountains are like trees. They're tree stumps, and they've told you that they're mountains and this and that, but they're actually the broken down disintegration of huge large trees, whether you know it or not. That's a whole nother story. But when it comes to it, we're going to talk a little bit about micrographia. Micrographia is a certain technique that was used when formulating that particular Ruperts Drop. Okay, so when it comes to it, I'm going to give you one of the in-depth definitions, which is something that is called microline. So let's get into it. This is in the formation of a rock, but I'm going to drop something in your head real quick. No, I think I'm going to read this first. Okay, microline, a rock-forming mineral belonging to the feldspar group. See feldspar. We can go back to that if you guys like, but I did earlier, and I just want to stick to this. Like art class, it is a potash feldspar with the formula KAISI3OS, but differs from this in crystallization. It differs from this in crystallization, which is the same thing that we just read about in the Ruperts Drop, the crystallization in anorthic. I did too much. I touched the page. This thing is annoying. I don't like reading out this book because it always do that. Where did it go? I don't know if it went left, went right. Let me see. Oh, I guess it was meant for me. This is off subject, but I'll read it real quick. It says history from 1613 until 1760. The territory now within the borders of Michigan formed a part of New France. This is hilarious to me sometimes how stuff just falls right into your lap, right? Okay, check this out. I'm gonna read that again. It says history. Let me see where I'm even at because did I go forward or backward on this page? But that was crazy. Michigan. Then I was looking at the micro. Okay, so it must be on the next page. I'll see. This is interesting. History. From 1613 until 1660, the territory now within the borders of Michigan formed a part of New France, and the first Europeans to found missions and settlements within those borders were Frenchmen. Two Jesuits. Hold the hell up. I'm going to have to come back to this. Let me finish this one topic because I'm about to go way freaking left right now. This page 400, let me write this down just in case I don't remember where I'm at because this right here is crazy. History of Michigan. Michigan. This is in Michigan. This is in the in I think it's part two or something. Part two, I think it's the encyclopedia. Okay, check this out. We're gonna go back to that in 2.3 seconds because that right there just caught my head. Okay, I think we went backwards. Let me see. Oh, no, this stuff on my Michigan. Let me go forward. Okay. Damn, what is this talking about? Hostile enemy? How did I get here? Wait a minute. Is it meant for me to read this? Oh my gosh. When this stuff happens, guys, I just get like caught up in too much of my own thinking. Let me see here, because this is showing the first character, like Miss Green Bay. What the heck is this talking about? Did I skip like 3 pages or something? Yep, I did. So it was 2 pages back. Fascinating. Okay. Let's see. Why is everything highlighted? Come on, this is throwing me off. Okay. Okay, there we go. Lord. Man, I went back like 2 pages. I don't know how I did that. Okay, let's get it. It was meant though, because I'm about to go right back to it in 2.35 seconds. Okay, so basically the microlane. Okay, let's get back to it. It differs from this in crystallization in the anorthic system. The anorthic system. The name from Greek, small and in to incline, was given by a Brat Hop in 1830 and has reference to the fact that the angle 89 degrees to 30 inches between two perfect cleavages differs but little from a right angle. The species was, however, first definitely established by a Cloxox, whatever that is, Cloxiox, in 1876. The crystals and cleavage masses are very like orthoclase in appearance and the hardness. Lord, this is talking about these Ruperts Drop. Y'all hear this? It said it was a species. I don't even think I want to get into this conversation. This is going to keep me up all night. Let me see. Maybe I could say this for tomorrow. Make this part too, because this right here is about to be, I don't know, more interesting than I thought. Pieces, dang. Y'all up with me for a minute? Y'all want me to keep going? This finna go. It's like 2 different things going on right here, just in these 4 pages, and um, I was. I'm more focused on this right now because this is like the whole subject and itself, and I don't even know if y'all really feeling me on this, but y'all know I've been telling y'all, showing y'all a whole bunch of things. I've been showing y'all stuff when it came to these beings being made and created and all of that. So keep that in mind. Let's keep moving. The crystals, let's say, very likely are the hardness and specific gravity. They are the same for the two minerals. There are, however, important differences in the twining and the optical characters. In addition to being twined according to the same laws as arthoclase, microline is repeatedly twined according to the albite law and the porcelain law, producing a very characteristic grating or crosshatch structure, which is especially prominent when thin sections of the material are examined in polarized light. And remember, we just looked at that to show how the polarized light is what helped to make the formulation of how it actually crystallized, forming the vacuum right there in the center, that little bulb, what happened, right? Where the light was captured within there. This laminar structure is often a very minute scale, sometimes so minute as to be almost indistinguishable. It has therefore been suggested that orthoclase is really a microline in which the twin lemmi are ultra microscopic. In a section parallel to the basal plane or microline's crystal, the laminae do not extinguish optically parallel to the edge, as we seen, the angle of it. But at an angle of 15 degrees 30 inches, further, the obtuse bisect of the optic axis is microline. It's inclined to the normal of the plane at an angle of 15 degrees to 26 inches. Green microline is distinctly folkloric. Okay, microline occurs usually with orthoclase as a constituent of pigmentates. Pigmentate. Are you guys listening? Pigmentate. Granites and Genesis. Mm. It is rare in porphyries and is not known in volcanic rocks. A beautiful crystallized stone, right? Beautiful crystallized variety of a bright verdigris green color and known as Amazon stone. Chesterlite is a variety occurring as crystals on dolomite in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Closely allied to microline in the anorthic soda potash feldspar, known as anorthoclase or natron microline. Here, sodium predominates over potassium, and a little calcium. It's also often present in the formula being NaKAISI to the third, 0 to the eighth degree. It resembles microline in having a cleavage angle of very nearly 90 degrees, and is a cross hatch structure, the latter being usually very minute and giving rise to a molted extinction. It is a characteristic feldspar of volcanic rocks which are rich in soda and is typically developed in the lavas of the island of Panatera near Sicily and those of Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya in East Africa. The Rome-shaped partheritic feldspar of the Ram Partree of southern Norway is also belongs here. So that, my dears, is a part of that. And as I said, sis said, yeah, keep going. I was off the page for a minute, sis. So that, my dears, as you heard, I want to know if you guys are hearing everything that was talked about. You know that what we've been talking about and sharing. I don't want to say too much, to have nothing weird going on with my page because I'm tired of these people trying to bother my page. But you guys understand, overstand everything that just spoke upon. Not to mention, when we're looking at the Ruperts Drop, let's think about the king taking the 6 of the Ruperts Drops. The prince taking them to the king delivering them to King Charles, right? Those 6 Ruperts drops, right? Now, in in these drops, what type of species? It said also that it can contain species, you know. So what type of species could have been in these drops in the spermicidal shape that they delivered as gifts to these kings? That became a very fascinating thing. No one was able to figure it out because there's a certain amount of pressure. Maybe these were crystallized um, crystals that have been melted and molded, and certain DNA would be held within to harness a certain species. Maybe a combination of these drops and creating a certain species. Quite a few other things are run through my mind, and I've been thinking about since I learned about these. But yeah, just thinking about these things, thinking about it being a part of masonry, and like, what would masonry have to do with that? What would masonry have to do with a Rupert's drop and things of that nature? So we see that these things all go together when we're thinking about micro. This is right, microcosm, a term often applied to physiological and general literal to man regarding as a little world, right? This is a term applied in a philosophical and in general literal literature in a man regarded as a little world. Like I tell you guys, you are, we got like thousands of universes right inside of us. They're like microcosms. Cosmos, you are the cosmos. I'll be telling you when Trey sing that, not Trey, I'm sorry, Thread sing the song, saying part of the cosmos. I tell you guys, yeah, not just a part, but you are. That's a whole nother story. Now, in opposition to the microcosm, great world, in which he lives from the dawn of speculative thought in Greece, an analogy between man and the world has been a commonplace and may be traced from Heraclitus and Empedocles, I'm not sure of these names, through Plato, Aristotle, and Stocks, and schoolmen and thinkers of the Renaissance down to the present day. Thus, Lot's comprehensive survey of mental and moral science is termed microcosmos. Thus, Lot's comprehensive survey of mental and moral science is termed microcosms, right? The most systematic expression of the tendency indicated in the term in the methodology of Leibniz, in which the monad is regarded as containing within its own closed sphere an expression of the universe, containing within its own closed sphere an expression of the universe. The typical created monad being the human soul. The typical created monad being the human soul. The most systematic expression of the tendency indicated by the term is the monadology of Leibniz, in which the monad is regarded as containing within its own closed sphere an expression of the universe. Your sphere, your body, an expression of the universe. Each cell in you is a living cosmic universe, right? And I keep telling you guys this. This is just kind of showing you. The typical created monad being the human soul in itself. The monad being the human soul. I gotta read something else to you guys real quick. Micrometer. An instrument generally applied to telescopes and microscopes for measuring small angular distances with the former, or the dimensions of small objects with the latter. Able to do that through the visuals, obviously, of light, using light manipulation, shape shifting light through the manipulation of the glass and the way that it shows the picture that it gives, the view that it gives when you're looking through a glass, like you know how it looks when you look through a looking glass. So that is actually, giving you a different type of view just like your view. It's like an artificial view, the same way that your vision is pulled in and your ocular actually reverts it and it pushes out. This is the same way that this works. Okay. Before the invention of the telescope, the accuracy of astronomical observations was necessarily limited by the angle that could be distinguished by the naked eye. The angle between two objects, such as stars or the opposite limbs of the sun, was measured by directing an arm furnished with fine sights in the sense of the sights of a rifle, first upon one's object and then open the other, and by and by employing an instrument having two arms, each furnished with a pair of sights, and directing one pair of sights upon one object, upon the second pair upon the other. The angle through which the arm was moved, or in the latter case, the angle between the two arms, which read off upon finely graduated arc. I still got water, I got tea. Which means no very high accuracy was possible. Archimedes concluded from his measurements that the sun's diameter was greater than 27 feet and less than 32 feet, and even Toko, Brani, something, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't even care about all that. Let me get to this part right here. Okay, Michael Messlin in 1579 determined the relative position of 11 stars in the Pleiades, which I see those 11 stars. I know you guys have been seeing them stars at night if you haven't been looking outside and looking up. I don't know exactly where you're positioned at, but I've been seeing like that Big Dipper like every night almost. Like it's probably out there now. I haven't been out this evening. Okay, I want to read something else. Hold on 1 second. We got too much thing to do. There's no doubt. Okay, let's be up here. Okay, it says the principle of Ganst micrometer is that two pointers having parallel edges at right angles to the measuring screw are moved in opposite directions systematically with and at right angles to the axis of the telescope. So the angle of light. So thinking about when you're looking through a glass, like I said, you're getting a picture, you're getting something that's showing you like a certain way that you're looking at things, right? And then the light, just like when you're looking at that Ruperts Drop, it shows you the light is being captured. So the light in a microscope or anything else, when the light is coming in, it's going to give a certain angle, a certain projection, or so on and so forth. So these are the ways they were systematically measuring these things. I just wanted to read that real quick, but it was something else. I don't know if it was on the other page. I might bypass it. Something with the moon. Where was it? Let me see. Maybe we'll go to that. Okay. The first thing Mr. Gus, I don't know if this is it, showed me was a large telescope amplified and adorned with inventions of his own, whereby he can take the diameters of the sun and moon or any small angle in the heavens or upon the earth, both exactly through the glass to a second. So through the glass, measure the light, like I was saying. Okay, so that's that. Now, basically, sis is, I see it's ladies in here tonight. Oh, sis done came through. What's going on, sis? And if you guys want to keep going, I want to go back to this Michigan thing. I gotta read some of that. That was crazy. I seen that earlier, but I didn't remember. Actually, on mine, it wasn't Michigan. What was it? It was Ohio in the other book. Ohio was giving a lot of information too. This is crazy. Now, this showing the governors of Michigan. Now, look at these names as the governors of Michigan. Check this out. Who are these people? Who are these people? Wait a minute. Before I even start reading, I just want y'all to see who these people is. I don't know if we're going to get all the way to. Oh, gosh. They're talking about distilled liquor and shit. What the heck is all that? The average annual rainfall is 33 inches. The finest agricultural land in the United States is near the lake. And there's an immense trade in all grains, fruits, livestock, and lumber, and in products such as flour, pork, hides, leather, goods, furniture, and so we're looking at the 1800s, and they were selling furniture, lumber, livestock, all this stuff. I thought they said that was nothing going on. which we read this plenty of times, but for anybody else that's coming into any of this information, so you guys know, we always read books on this stuff. We've been proving this stuff forever. So like, come on, it's so real. But check this out. Wow. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do a build specifically on this. Surface currents are set up by prevailing winds, which also seriously affect water levels, lowering the water at Chicago and raising it at the strait or the reverse, so as greatly to inconvenience navigation. The level of the lake is subject to seasonal fluctuations, reaching the maximum in midsummer and the minimum in February. Okay, this is true. We talked about this before. Well, we have in my mind. I meant to say the Aboriginal community has talked about that many times before about the lands. I've heard certain people reading that. Okay, let's see. We're gonna get to where were we going? Dang, do I want the early experience of the state with banks was scarcely less serious than that with public improvements. Although there were already 15 banks in the state in 1837. Wow, 15 banks in the state in 1837. Yet the cry against monopoly was loud. And so in that year, a general banking law uh, was passed whereby any 10 or more freeholders might establish a bank with a capital of not less than 50,000. What the heck? Not less than 50,000, nor more than $300,000, and begin business as soon as 30% of the capital was paid in specie. Only a few positions were made in these ineffectual for the protection of the public, obviously. Later in the same year, the legislature passed an act for the suspension of specie payments until the 6th of May, 1838. And the consequence was that the state was flooded with irredeemable paper currency. The state was flooded with the currency in 1838. But most of the wildcat banks, what is a wildcat bank? We gotta look that up. Dang, I should be taking notes. I can't. I'm too tired to even look for nothing right now. I've been running around, had grandbabies here, helping my daughter do some legal stuff, and man, it's been a mess. Um, so the wildcat banks had passed out of existence by 1839. What the heck is a wildcat bank? I never heard of that. We'll have to look that up, guys. Hold on. Let me over here. The Wildcat Bank. What the heck is a Wildcat Bank? Let me see. Wildcat Banks. Okay, let's see what they say. Wow. Fascinating. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. All right, guys. Yeah, I think it's getting late. Nobody really up in here. Yes, because I might have to get on this early in the morning for real. Because this is really interesting. I'm getting a lot of downloads right now. We're gonna continue this in the morning, guys, because I got to get into this. I'm gonna leave this page right where it's at. We will get back into this in the morning, and yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, we'll do that. Peace, blessings, and love, guys. We're gonna make this a quick, short one, and we will do this in the morning. Peace, love, and I'm out.